Hello everybody. Welcome back for another video. Hope you're all doing well. Hope you're all doing great. And that you're all having a wonderful day. And without any further ado, let's jump right into it. Welcome to the halving. Yeah, I know it took us seems like, for me at least, it took us forever to finally get here, but here we are. And now is probably when a lot of the madness is going to begin. Between this not only being a huge moment in the cryptocurrency space, is now also leaked, flooded in completely into mainstream news. I don't know if you've seen on Twitter, people were posting in random countries that they were driving down highways, and there were not advertisements, like they were like clocks and countdowns for the actual halving in their country. I'm seeing it everywhere on major news outlets. Everyone's talking about it. There are like all these really weird debates that are going on. I sincerely don't understand. I don't get it. How Peter Schiff still has any kind of a platform. There was something a couple days ago where someone was trying to explain the halving to him and how Bitcoin has gone from $17,000, has tripled in price, and all these other things over the course of a 2-year period, and all he could think about was the fact that gold had gone up by a few $100s over the course of those years as well. This is, I mean, to be fair, it is the craziest halving that we've had thus far. We've known that institutions have been in the space for a while, but it was never abundantly clear until we got to around January. The amount of news of countries buying up Bitcoin, who are mining Bitcoin. There are a bunch of new addresses that are popping up every day on Twitter where we see that these addresses are buying like several hundred Bitcoin per day. It's absolutely, it's completely, the term isn't out of control, but that's nothing. I mean, I can't really think of anything else. This is where we currently are on the issuance. We are at 3.125 Bitcoin created per block. It sounds like a lot. No. It really doesn't in the actual scheme of things. Bitcoin's issuance has been cut in half. The amount that is maybe created per day is around 450. So the number usually given is relatively like a guesstimate, if you will. It depends on the amount of people who have their computers plugged in, locked in, who are trying to get as much Bitcoin as possible. And the number that we currently have will be around roughly 450 per day. The issue is, if you've been paying attention, is that the demand for Bitcoin per day is far higher than 450. We've had a demand higher than several thousand Bitcoin, between 9 to 13,000 Bitcoin. That's a demand per day. 9 to 13,000 Bitcoin is usually the buying demand across the planet per day. And now we only have around 450 that are being created by the actual machines. If you've been keeping track as well, the people who mine Bitcoin do not sell all of their Bitcoin because they also want the Bitcoin for themselves. So it's not 450 new Bitcoin that are reaching the market every single day. It's probably less than half of that. If you saw the news about good 10 days ago, we heard that a number of large banks, that we weren't told which ones, but we were told by different mining companies that these institutions are now coming to them saying, hey, we need some Bitcoin, and they literally have no Bitcoin to give them. So thus begins the wild ride. As I said before many other times, from here, I think the most important date from now, this moment, is 3 months from now. That is the historical time frame that we see that Bitcoin tends to or has done anywhere from a 30 to an 80% rise in price. And that's what everyone's basically looking for. The world continues to be in a dramatic amount of turmoil. Same exact thing with financial markets, same exact thing with the Fed and inflation and printing money and new people who are getting into the Bitcoin market. I mean, every single day. This halving and the next two are meant to be the catalyst for the multiple billions of people into the cryptocurrency market. Anywhere from $1 to a $10 million Bitcoin. You can even see that when we get to this halving in 2032, the issuance rate is literally less than a Bitcoin. It is 0.78 for those of you not looking at the screen. Yeah, very, very fascinating times ahead. I want to sincerely thank everyone who's been here for this long. Think of how long we've been going through this every single day on this channel, discussing Bitcoin and the cryptocurrency space. And I know that the halving, of course, has taken up a lot of the news segments over the course of the last few months, but that was because we've never seen this much interest in our market. We see trillions of dollars sloshing around constantly, moving prices, and it's basically go time. I can't think of any other way of saying it, but yeah, this has been a crazy journey. Get into this one halving. Of course, not to be forgotten, there's a lot of analysts. I only have this one. I wasn't in the mood for 9,000 other articles talking about basically the exact same thing. What's his name? Samson Mao has once again said that he thinks that Bitcoin is incredibly undervalued. He thinks that people aren't paying attention to what Bitcoin is, exactly how high Bitcoin should be in price. He's been saying he's one of the people for a while who's been calling for a $100,000 Bitcoin. I think, to be completely realistic, it's quite difficult to obtain that when you have so many people in the market who behind the scenes are trying to lower prices, to kick me and you out of the market, to kick normal people out of the market, to discourage people from getting in because they want to buy Bitcoin as cheap as possible. Understand that the price predictions recently for Bitcoin have ranged anywhere from a 5x to a 10x in price over the course of this bull run. So understand that we are not meant to be in the market. And this is why I think a lot of the movements have been happening the way that they have been within this space, because once again, we're basically not meant to be here, and the rich people kind of want all the Bitcoin for themselves. Samson Mao has said that it is now Omega time. And it's like, I don't think I know what that means, but I have a feeling I know exactly what it means. Everyone's ramped up. Everyone's kind of ready, especially the Bitcoin maximalists. This is a huge pivot point for where we're supposed to be. I still think, rather for me, I feel like we're still early as far as I wasn't expecting a lot of this to happen for like the next decade. Bitcoin has gone completely mainstream. And one of the really interesting things that you're also going to see over the course of the next year and a half of this bull run is the amount of numbers that we get for new people. I mean, it's always a thing. We will typically hear, hey, there's 1,000 new addresses per day. Hey, there's so and so and so. But we've already seen in the last 3 months, there have been multiple days where there's been over 5,000 new addresses per day. We had one day where I think there were over 100,000 new addresses. So the idea is that from Samson Mao and a bunch of other people that we are potentially going to go over 1 billion people in the cryptocurrency space by next year. So therefore, a gigantic ramp up in the amount of people who are in Bitcoin, buying Bitcoin, and then keeping in mind that the buying pressure, the demand is already there. So we're only going to see a lot more as we continue to go into the future. the idea of the ETFs. For those of you who missed it a couple days ago as well, Hong Kong has officially approved Bitcoin and Ethereum ETFs. I think the Bitcoin ones are kind of a little bit more on people's radars right now, just because Bitcoin and the halving, what have you. And a lot of people, it's Samson Mao. Who was the other person? There was someone else about a day or two ago or maybe even more, anyway, who was saying that he assumes because of the ETFs, we're probably, this is their opinion, that we might go over a $600,000 Bitcoin just because of the amount of demand. Like, keeping in mind, the demand was already sky high before, and now it's literally doubled because the supply created has been cut in half. Therefore, that flips up. And yeah. Welcome to the halving. It is going to be a wild ride. I am very excited for it. I know there's a lot of expectation, a lot of things that people are hoping, wishing, and praying for. Yeah, 3 months is the time range for me. Let's say April to May, May to June, June to July. We should have crystal clear indications by the middle of July as to exactly where prices are and where they're going to go. Yeah, that's the we made it news. Let's move on. Being nice here, I think this news was meant to be more popular or important than it currently is. Once again, trying to be nice. A Vietnam ministry representative clarified on Friday that crypto is not prohibited within the country. However, he emphasized the importance of establishing a legal framework to regulate crypto and to mitigate potential risks. The last 2 or 3 weeks, I'm not sure if it's just like an extra level of clarity or if this is really doing it for people. There's been a lot of different countries who we normally do not hear about within the cryptocurrency Bitcoin news space, who've been announcing that Bitcoin isn't banned, or that they considered bans and they're not, or that Bitcoin is legal but it's not legal tender, or that crypto are currencies but they're still not regulated in some sort of way within their country. And they've been popping up more and more. And this is what I said, like, not to be mean at all. We typically do not hear about these countries in the cryptocurrency news space. But for some reason, they're constantly popping up, and I don't know if it's meant to coincide with the halving. I don't know if something is going on within these countries where people have been looking for clarity, and all these government representatives are now giving out the information. I honestly don't know. Sao Dang Vin, Deputy Director of the Economic and Civil Legislation Department, said there are varying interpretations concerning virtual assets, digital currencies, and cryptocurrencies. He further noted a disparity in management among different countries. Yeah, because a couple of years ago, it's important but not important. A number of years ago, country people came together and basically said that they all wanted like a blanket rule for cryptocurrencies within all countries. I perceived it as a type of a one gigantic blanket over anti-money laundering, KYC kind of things, but I think it goes a little bit deeper than that, but we the public haven't really been let in on that news. And as such, this is why different countries have completely different regulations, completely different taxation, completely different ideas as to like how crypto can move, what it is, where it's going to go, blah, 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 all those kinds of things. And yeah, I don't think that's going to happen anytime soon because I think more countries understand crypto than others, and they understand that there's money to be made. And if you try to shoo away the money, well, you know, then your country will not do as well economically at the same time. The official highlighted concerns regarding the inherent risks associated with crypto, such as, once again, there we go, misappropriation or money laundering. He also noted Vietnam's non-recognition of crypto as a legal asset, The Vietnam Investment Review reported. So cool. Vietnam has never been a country. I can't remember the last time I said the name Vietnam and crypto in the same sentence, nonetheless paragraph, nonetheless ever. It's cool that it's not being banned. I hope they get regulations for it soon because their country will only, once again, not do well economically if they don't get the let out. Cool. Fantastic. I still find it very fascinating that we only get news about crypto being used. They don't want it to be used as a way of money laundering and all these other things. And it's like people use real estate for money laundering. People use art for money laundering. People use gold for money laundering. People use stocks from they use any type of thing, any instrument that can be traded and or used. But we still live in the 1800s. So of course, crypto gets the worst part of all of it. Fantastic. Cool. Glad to hear they're doing the thing that they should be doing. Moving along. Also, constantly popping up, and I don't really know what's going on. So, there's been a lot of news about Ethereum. I'm not sure if these are... Hear me out here. I honestly don't. I don't know if they're publicly timed. That is to say, constant news is being released about Ethereum to make it more in the public mind, the public consciousness. I'm not sure. I don't know if it's because these things are actually happening. I don't know if it's simply happenstance, random occurrences that are kind of putting this thing back into the news. But for some reason, Ethereum is in the news like 20 times as much as it used to be. We would maybe hear about Ethereum every 2 or 3 months, maybe. And it would be like, hey, there's an update coming in September. And then September would become October. October would become December. And then they would have a test net. And then test net, that was always kind of what it was. But for some reason, if you've been watching the last 2 months of videos, it's constantly popping up. But it's almost always about the same thing. It's about a new upgrade to the system. For some reason, we keep being told that current Ethereum isn't good enough. So we're going to get a new iteration, a new version, a new something, some kind of new technology that's going to bring Ethereum even further than where it currently is. And once again, I don't know if that's because all these things are just happen to be happening at this time. If it's timed out, if it's planned, if it's because of the anticipation of the potential Ethereum ETFs from the US SEC, which are probably not going to happen at this point, or what it really is. But there's also a lot of Vitalik Buterin being in the news and talking about a lot of these things. So yeah, Vitalik Buterin, once again in the news, recently discussed a new technology that could significantly enhance Ethereum's main network. The same exact news story that's been around the last 7 or 8 times, and they all have a brand new name. They all have this is also something different. We haven't heard this one before. Every single week, there's a brand new technology that's being named that's going to help Ethereum. And it's like, okay, this technology involves switching Ethereum's current system to something called Verkle trees, making the network more zero knowledge friendly. In other words, more compatible with zero knowledge proofs, which are methods of proving knowledge of some information without revealing that information in itself. Okay. Buterin pointed out that the current limitations with what? How do I pronounce this? Keccac. Keccac? Current limitations with Keccac Merkle Patricia trees? You see what I'm talking about? It's always just nonsense words that are being... As long as I've been doing this channel and have been going over Ethereum upgrades and updates, I have never seen or heard the words Keccac Merkle Patricia, like the woman's name, Patricia trees. Part of Ethereum's underlying structure. The main issue is the enormous witness sizes Is this all fake? Is it April 1st? The amount of data needed to prove a transaction, which can be up to 300 megabytes. Such sizes are impractical for processes that need to be lean and efficient, like zero knowledge proofs. Okay, my brain can't continue reading nonsense anymore. So cool. They're trying to get rid of Patricia and make it into a Verkle. And that's also supposed to be something that's revolutionary as well. What was the last thing we heard about Ethereum? Vitalik is trying to make it so that what do you call it? Oh gosh. That staking is easier, and he wants to change the system for something as well. He wants to make it so that people can't not validate stuff and then therefore cause other people to not validate because they think that they'll be rewarded more. The thing that we heard about before was that there's some other iteration of an upgrade that's supposed to be coming April ? But they were running, I think, 2 test nets at the same time. Before that, we heard from Vitalik, who was talking about, I think, they're trying to have more Ethereum virtual machines for other blockchains. And it's at a certain point, it just becomes relatively bloated because Ethereum, while the most popular chain out there, has a long history of kind of announcing that things are going to happen. And then 8 years pass by and we're like, oh, oopsie daisy, still not there. So I say this nicely as well, no one really cares about Verkle trees, Patricia, or any other type of word that they have going on out there. I think the thing that Ethereum truly needs, and once again, as someone who is not a developer, I can only assume that maybe these are iterations of things that need to happen before we get to the 1 million transactions per second, because that would completely skyrocket Ethereum to the forefront of the entire world. But cool. So I guess it's something else to look forward to. Ethereum typically does very well after, price-wise, after an upgrade. So, I mean, if there are 7 on the way and they, happen over the course of the next 18 months, that's only going to be a gigantic boost in the price. But cool. This also follows, wasn't it also 2 months ago where they just had the Deneb Cancun upgrade? Woo, random words. That's the Ethereum. Vitalik Buterin said something else that sounds like gibberish, but I assume it's stuff news. Okie dokie. Let's move on. Also in yay news, Shiba Inu apparently is back in the news once again. Its partner in crime is not. Terra Luna Classic. Shiba Inu is back in the news once again about its burn rate. For those of you who don't know, there's a lot of Shiba Inu, and I don't know why they made it that way, but now they're trying to not make it that way. And the way that they're not making it that way is by burning coins. And we used to get burn news daily for Shiba Inu. It's rearing its doggy head back into the news. Its burn rate rose by 64,201%. And apparently another 657 million Shiba Inu tokens have been permanently removed from circulation. This was This was said on the ShibBurn Twitter account. And they said in the last 24 hours, it came out to $13,878 in monetary. My brain can't deal with a lot of those numbers. Yeah. Whoa, fascinating. Cool. Yeah. So for those of you who don't know the legend of Shiba Inu, it is supposed to be the version of Dogecoin that does something. They are supposed to have their own metaverse, their own NFT platform, their own layer 2s. They have bones. They have leashes. That sounds like a joke. Nope, those are actual things on the network. And there was something else really crazy as well. And they have the creator of them is called Satoshi Kusama. It's supposed to be Satoshi Nakamoto, but cooler or more different or something like that. And the coin is in the community. They're burning as many as they can to try and get to 1 cent. Yes, 1 cent per coin is the goal, and they've been burning coins for the last 2 years. So I assume there's going to be even more of a pickup as the bull run goes. Cool. Shiba Inu news. Fantastic. Wonderful. Awesome. Amazing. Let's move on. Also in popular news, and I will preface this by saying people should be absolutely ashamed of themselves. And I mean like actual, like, you should be ashamed of yourself. It says, for those of you not looking at the screen, I'll read through some of it and I'll get you what I've got from it. It says, in a significant legal development, the U.S. Court of Appeals for the Second Circuit has issued a comprehensive ruling on a contentious lawsuit involving Coinbase. The plaintiffs in the case, 3 names, the lawsuit centered on allegations of violations of federal and state securities laws concerning the trading of specific cryptocurrencies on Coinbase. The plaintiffs asserted federal claims under multiple different laws of the Securities Exchange Act. Additionally, they brought forth state law claims under the security laws of California, Florida, and New Jersey. The affected people include those who bought or sold tokens on Coinbase's platform between the 8th of October 2019 and the 11th of March 2022. The crux of the dispute lay in determining whether the cryptocurrencies traded on Coinbase's platforms constituted securities under federal and state laws. The plaintiffs contended that Coinbase's actions amounted to offering and selling unregistered securities. Furthermore, they accused it of violating various provisions of security laws. A number of years ago, and I mean like shame on you, like actual, you should, and I say this in the nicest way possible, you should be banned from ever being in the cryptocurrency space ever again. The long and short of it is, a lot of people are very greedy. Now, you may sit there and, think about yourself or even think about me and go, well, we're kind of greedy being in the crypto space, but there's another level of greed that goes on top of that, where you literally don't care about anyone else in the space because you think you can profit from it. A number of years ago, starting way back in even 2017, when a lot of Bitcoin maximalists began to lie that XRP was an unregistered security, and that kind of trickled down to other coins. It only empowered the SEC to actually say, well, cool, we should have control over the entire space if everyone's screaming the words unregistered securities. This led to one of the first lawsuits that was actually against Ripple, where someone, as far as I can remember, he tried to sue Ripple by saying that when the market went down in price in 2018, that he lost money. And therefore, only because he lost money was XRP an unregistered security. Part of the problem with that completely was that he only, ONLY, lost $50. As far as I can remember, the lawsuit was, when he was trading, he saw the coin going down, he sold it, he lost $50 and decided to file a class action lawsuit against them with a number of other people who had also been harmed by Ripple's actions. A number of these lawsuits were thrown out, or we simply never heard of them again. What's happening now, or what happened, and this is the most annoying part, is that when the cryptocurrency market is doing fantastic, everyone's smiling. When it's not doing fantastic and when prices are going down, people look for someone to blame. This is why I mentioned before, I am not here to hold your hand. I am not here to make you feel good about things in the market. I tell you the news for what the news is. If at any point you have put your money into the market, it's because you put your money into the market. You are responsible for what you do. I'm not sure if you know, but that's how adulthood works. It's quite simple. You choose the food that you eat. You choose where you go to sleep. You choose your activities for the day, and that includes the money that you've earned where you put it in the market. The issue is that when the markets go down, once again, people look for someone to blame. And in this case, they blamed Coinbase, and they said, well, the coins that we put our money into, that we lost money on, something must have been wrong with them, and it's Coinbase's fault. So instead of thinking about the implications of how that might actually affect everyone else within the cryptocurrency space, because if this had been deemed, or these coins had been deemed securities, it would have only emboldened the SEC even more. These coins' prices would have fallen down along with every other altcoin, and you listening to this right now would have lost a huge amount of money, and you wouldn't have known why. And then I would have come to you with a news story about these 3 people who allegedly say that the coins that they were trading on Coinbase were unregistered securities, and they therefore, they deserved some kind of financial restitution because of it. So the judge said, no, the sales of the things that you put your money into on Coinbase did not count as securities, and it did not violate any security laws. And it's a shame that we need things like this to happen. It's the same exact thing where all these countries and states within the United States have to make laws that say, hey, if you bought crypto, it's yours. You saw that Bitcoin you bought, it is yours. If someone takes it, you can get it back because it's yours. You shouldn't have to say that something that I bought is mine. It's very clear, And in the same exact breath, we shouldn't have situations where, because it's happened multiple times, this is not the first time. People lose money. They trade, and they trade hard. They trade fast. They over leverage themselves. These people take out massive amounts of debt. Do not ever, I'm talking to you, listen, do not ever take out debt to put money into the cryptocurrency market. You are going to lose. Do not do it. Do not do it. I've had to say this multiple times already. I don't want any of you, none of you, I don't want to see it. I don't want to see any of you in your car crying in a YouTube video talking about how much money you lost. The issue is that a lot of people hyper over leverage themselves. They try and take out $15,000, $20,000 loans. They throw it into the cryptocurrency market because the market's hot. They don't understand market cycles. They don't understand that we're at the end of a market cycle. And then they run to the people who they didn't care for before, the SEC, and to lawyers and to things like that, because they lost their own money. It happens every single cycle. Every single cycle. And then we usually have to deal with the repercussions of it because the SEC follows these lawsuits. They want to see if there is a new precedent by the court in a security violation. Coinbase then gets in trouble, as do the other crypto exchanges. Coin prices fall, and we have to sit there waiting another year for prices to go back up because these people thought that and I don't know the numbers, but I can only assume they were trying to get Coinbase for multiple millions of dollars. You all got that right. Let's be completely honest. These people weren't trying to just recuperate what little money that they lost. They were probably like, I need 15 million in compensation. So yeah, good job, Coinbase. It's a shame, a literal shame that things like this have to continuously happen within this space. But when you have terrible people who do things, and then we end up, or rather Coinbase or crypto exchanges up winning the lawsuit, or, whatever the case might actually be, it's better for the rest of us so we don't have to deal through all of that all over again. This is why it's great that we no longer have to hear about the idea of XRP being a security, because of the entire, path that we had to walk through. So it's always muddy, it's always gross, but we end up getting there. And it's just like, stop being so greedy. Stop being so terrible. Stop making sure that you're the only one who gets to the top of the mountain. We can all do it together. You just have to stop being greedy. Stop over leveraging. Stop thinking you can time the market. Understand what a market cycle is. Learn and read. It's absolutely insane. I know nothing. I know nothing of the specifics of this case. Jack diddly squat, and I'm certain I know exactly what happened. Because it keeps happening over and over and over. Anyway, yeah, that's the Coinbase news. It was not that popular, but it was popular to me because I'm tired of seeing this crap over and over. When this bull market goes, flourishes, continues, blossoms, if you will, do not take out debt to put into this market. Do understand that these are all your own actions that you do. And please, for the love of goodness, just I don't even know. I think I've maybe said enough because I'm so mentally exhausted with a lot of the things that have been happening recently. Yeah. Do your own due diligence. It's very important for you. I'm sure we're going to have another conversation about this sometime as we move closer into autumn. Yeah. I think that is definitely going to do it for this video. I do hope that you've all enjoyed. I do hope you all are having a great day, morning, afternoon, evening, wherever you are, wherever the heck you might be. I do hope it is absolutely fantastic. Thank you all once again for watching, listening, liking, commenting, and supporting for 8 years. And I will most certainly be talking to you all soon. See you.